Okay, so now we're going to look at another technique you can use besides the Turkish technique. It really accomplishes the same goals. If you'd rather use this regularly, you can. So I put this brewer we sent you on a scale, the Hario scale, and I've zeroed it out pressing that button on the right-hand side. It says 0. Now what I'm going to do is to add 300 milligrams of water. I just watch on the scale and I pour and pour and pour until I see on the right-hand side that I've hit roughly 300 milligrams. If you go over a little over, it doesn't matter. Now I zero out again. So again, on the right-hand side it says 0. And now I'm going to add the coffee. I want to add 30 grams of coffee. Now you can take the bag and pour it in. You can take whatever kind of scoop you want, tablespoon. Doesn't matter. Just carefully weigh it out. If you go a little bit over, it doesn't matter. Just try not to go under. Try to get roughly 30 grams. Now, once this is all set, I'm going to stir it up a little bit here just to get all the grinds off of the bottom. And I want to stir it, a couple times during the process here just to keep things going. There's only one control when you plugged it in, and it's this button that you see on the top of the pot here. Now, you put my timer down here, and I'm not going to start the timer until I see it come to a boil. Now, the most critical part of this whole process is you make sure it doesn't boil over. And the way you do that is when you see the very first hint of a boil, you want to turn this off, pressing this button you see right in front of us here, and start your timer. Now, I worked this out. You can see the Bonavita is on if that red button is on. If it's not, it's off. And what you're going to do here is once it comes to a boil, turn it off for 30 seconds, on for 10 seconds, off for 30 seconds, on for 10 seconds, off for 30 seconds, up to 3 minutes. And that should prevent this from boiling over. Now, if it does, it's not a catastrophe. I mean, I've done it any number of times. You can see the mess I've already made with my own stove there. But you want to, stir it a couple of times here just to make sure the grounds aren't on the bottom. And this is an incredibly great extraction technique. We found in our own data that the very finest grind size with the very highest temperature, which is boiling, and the agitation of boiling gets the very, very most of these polyphenols out. Now, polyphenols are what make fruits, vegetables, green tea, red wine, and olive oil healthy, and that's what makes coffee so unbelievably healthy. Now I'm watching very carefully. Some steam starting to come off, starting to approach a boil here, and I deliberately sort of messed up here just to show you what this looks like. I'm letting it boil up. I should have stopped it, a little bit earlier. See, it boils up and up and up and up and up and over, and actually goes over the side. So that's too much. Kind of messed up. And the way you prevent that is when you very first see the boil, turn that switch off so the red light goes off. Again, you're likely to do this. You're likely to make a mistake. Don't get upset about this. We all do it. I've done it lots of times. Just takes a sponge to clean it up. So you see, I've now waited roughly 30 seconds, and I've turned it back on. I'm going to go for 10 seconds, watching on my timer, turn it off. And you'll see that 10 seconds is just enough to bring it to a boil without having to come over. If you find, depending on where you live, that that's too much, you can go back to 7 or 8 seconds. But the key is you don't want that to go up and over the edge. So I'm just going to follow along with you for the next 2 minutes. And you're going to see that it's again 10 off. 10 on to be clear, 10 on. And then it's going to be 30 off. There's the 10 on, it's coming, it's boiling up. That agitation is what's getting all of the really great benefits out of the coffee. And just as a little bit of education, we have used liquid chromatography, mass spectrometry to be able to measure this. So with great precision, we have chosen the very best bean on earth. We roasted it lightly. So when you taste this coffee, it's not going to have all the taste of an unbelievably great coffee, even though it is, because it's lightly roasted to preserve the maximum benefit, even though it sacrifices a little bit of taste. Now you can see I'm going on for another 10 seconds here. It's boiling up like that. 10 seconds is almost over. I've stirred it. Turn it off. And I've actually got my 3-year-old who's helping me out here. Alistair, how do you like Dr. Danger coffee?
I like blue.
He likes the blue coffee. All right, let's continue to watch along a little bit here. I know this seems a little bit boring. You can fast forward if you want to, just to see how this goes. You see the red light's on. You see, yeah, I'm going on for 10 seconds here. And the 10 seconds is up. Turn it off. Waiting another 30 seconds until I get to the end. And this Bonavina you can take with you to work, any place you want, any place you have a power outlet, you can easily do this. The only one tip I have, besides not boiling it over, is don't put the grinds down your sink. Try to pour them someplace else, because over time you're going to end up with a stopped up sink, as I found, to my chagrin. Okay, so here's the last 10 seconds here. It's starting to boil up. I'm going to turn it off here. I'm going to hit the 3-minute mark. That's all I need for extraction. So I'm done now with the 3 minutes. Now, you could pour this off if you're going to hurry and have to get out the door. I let it settle for roughly a minute. This allows the grinds to kind of fall to the bottom. These are very, very fine grinds, and you may notice a few in your coffee. Doesn't hurt you at all. Nothing wrong with them. Remember, there are hundreds of millions of people every single day throughout the Middle East and Africa who prepare their coffee this way, and they're getting staggering benefits. An interesting thing, too, is that the very oldest people in the world on Ikaria Island prepare their coffee this way. And even at that old age, those who drink the most coffee have the very, very highest benefits of all. Now, after I've waited here, roughly a minute, I'm going to pour this out. You can do it, fairly slowly. You're just trying to pour as much coffee out without getting many of the grinds. You'll have most of them still in the coffee pot at the end. Now, enjoy the coffee. It's going to be pretty thick and robust compared to what you may be used to. You can drink it slowly. There's only 1 cup you have to drink a day. You can see in the bottom that almost all the grinds are still there, so that you're good to go. So enjoy this. If you're an active cyclist, I would drink this an hour before you cycle in the morning, and you'll have one of the best workouts you've ever had. Thanks again for watching.